So in this video, I'm going to show you how to take your cycling shoe and make your cleat change into a mid-sole position. My name is Adam and I've been a cyclist all my life, and I have other videos about some subjects like this, some videos about why you would want to place the cleat in the middle part of your shoe, or at least farther back than is traditionally thought. And I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, the reason why you have to be a little bit of a MacGyver for this is because the holes that normally come with the shoes do not allow the cleat to go back far enough for some people. Of all the shoes that I've ever owned, there's two brands. Actually, there's three, but I have not owned one of them. There's two brands that tend to have the holes generally farther back. There's the Specialized brand, and there is the Shimano brand, and they generally tend to have their holes a little bit farther back towards the heel. So if you like your cleats farther back, those are two brands that I've found that tend to have the holes farther back, compared to, for example, CD, which tend to have the holes farther forward. Now there's another brand called Lake, and those tend to have the holes farther back as well. So the brand actually can make a difference. Now, why would you want the cleat right up against the at the height of the big toe? The reason why is because that way you can actually utilize your calf, and in high sprints and things like that, you can get a good jump. But for long distance cycling, most people find that the cleat being farther back towards the heel is a lot more comfortable. So let me show you exactly how I did this. All right, now one of the first things I'm gonna do is, I learned this from Steve Hogg, is don't go through bike fit hell. And I'm gonna make a mark here right where the middle of the cleat is, and then I'm also gonna draw around it so that I do not, if for some reason something bad happens and I don't like the position, I can actually make sure and put it back exactly where I wanted it before. And that way you'll never make a mistake. So I just took some lines, I drew some lines right there, and I drew around the actual cleat to make sure I know exactly where my previous position is. So here's the game plan. This is the shoe. Now I taped the tongue of the shoe away so it's just not in my way, so I'm not constantly trying to move it out of the way. And I took the cleat off, and you could see the holes there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna drill new holes down below, and ideally we will try to make it so that this will extend so I can literally customize how far down I want it. Now what happens is, underneath the shoe, I took the footbed out, and you can see right there the holes, and this right here is what engages the nut of the cleat to attach to the shoe. Now the problem with this is, if you were to just drill the hole and pull it backwards, it feasibly could work. The only problem is, if you look real closely inside the shoe, there's a little hole where this thing fits in, flush with the bottom of the shoe. And the problem is that it rises here. So we're gonna have to take a Dremel and try to cut some of that out so that this will slide flush with the actual shoe. Now it might be difficult to see, but I measured twice, because you're only gonna cut once, is I took a little knife, and what I did was I made some perfectly straight lines parallel with each other, so I have a guide with which to drill. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a small drill to just get the hole started, a real small one. Just like that, and that'll be my starting point. So I got these little holes here. So now what I'm going to use is a 1/4 drill bit to make this a little bit bigger, and then I will try to extend it to here to give that variability. That was fast. And there you have it. There are the holes. Okay, so the holes are drilled, and I wish everything worked out okay, but one of the holes, for some reason, is not exactly perfectly in good alignment, whereas the other one I did pretty well. Now, how I did this one was I attached this to it on the top surface, so I had a better guide. This one I actually measured twice. I should have measured 3 times. So I'm going to try to fix this just by opening up the hole and extending it that way. It's not going to make that big of a difference because once it's attached to the cleat, it'll secure it. But instead of the drill, I'm going to use a Dremel. And how this works is just a rotary tool, and I'm just going to use it to try to see if I can dig out some of this. So let's try this here. All right, so now you could see this hole's a little bit bigger than this one, but I'm extending it that way to make it in good alignment with this, and then I'm going to dig these out. So now what I've done is I took this base plate and I put it in there exactly where I want, and I outlined in that spot the exact spot where I need to cut out that area out. Now that's pretty hard, and some people will try to do it with the razor blade, and what'll happen is I'm going to use this. And by the way, I'm going to put all these tools in the description down below so you can get them. I just got them at like Home Depot or B&B Hardware, those types of things, or you can get them online. I'll put them online so you can order them. But I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use this little sander, and I'm going to try to sand away that spot so this thing will sit flush in the shoe. One of the nice things about this one is it's got this little light that you can see, so it actually makes it a lot easier to see what you're doing if you're in your garage. So here we go. What I did was I completed it. It's in there. Let me show you. So that's my handiwork. It's not exactly pretty, but we'll see if it's effective. So I got the cleat on, and you can see here, right there is where the original center of the cleat was. Right there is where it is now. And let me just see what the numbers are. So right there, you can see it is 15 millimeters aft compared to the original shoe. And that should be plenty to solve my problem. And the nice thing is I continued this hole all the way down. So if I don't like it where it is, I can move it up 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, wherever. I can put it back to where it was before. And so now all I have to do is check the rotation, which I'm going to check on the road, and that is how I changed these cleats. So if you thought this was interesting or you have any other suggestions, put them down in the comment section down below, and I hope this has helped you. And if you ever have any type of foot problems, I hope this gives you an idea of how easy it is to fix.